Well, here we go. I just started filming, or just started editing my Purge video, and I didn't introduce myself. Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. My name's Jen, and as you can tell from the title, today's video is all about me decluttering my craft room. Now, I've already done a video on my theory on purging, and I talk about it a little bit in the video. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link it a little bit further on, and you can go and check that out so you know what I'm talking about when I refer to it. Please like the video if you enjoy videos like this, as I love filming, organizing videos and cleaning videos and all of that sort of thing. So let me know what you think, and yeah, let's get on with the video. Purging step 1, clean off the dining room table. Okay, step 2, move the chairs out of the way and put down a tablecloth that can be easily bleached. And then we start putting some stuff on here. Just so you know what we're dealing with here, this is the current state of my craft area. It got into a bit of a mess when I got sick and everything, so everything just sort of got put on hold a bit and didn't get put away. Okay, the first thing I'm going to purge today is my coloring in supplies, things that color other things, so markers, ink, pigments, etc. I mentioned in my purging theory video, which I'll link up there, that the first thing you want to do is get like with like and put it all on the table and get it all together. And because I had bits and pieces here and there, I'm actually going to go through and put like with like. So I've got some markers here. I'm going to move them over to here and get it sorted, and then I'll have a look at it. It's amazing how much better it looks even just by sorting it, isn't it? You can kind of see what you've got, and then you can go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask myself if I love the items on this table, sort of like the Marie Kondo method, right? Do you have a strong positive emotion about the materials? Now, if I have any of the if I have any of the feelings that I mentioned the other day, in other words, dread, stress, disinterest, any of those feelings, even on a very slight level, then I don't love it, and I'm going to consider purging it. Okay, and I'll give you an example. I'm going to go through this real quick, and then I'll give you examples of what I mean with both of those. Okay, these are Stampin' Up! Markers. They're double-sided, and you can use them for stamping or for drawing or for watercolor, for all kinds of stuff. I love them. They're staying. I don't even have to think about that. I don't feel any of those negative emotions that I talked about in the other video, and therefore they get to stay. It's that simple. Now these are beautiful. They're double-ended, so they have a scroll and brush. Some of them are calligraphy markers. I got them on clearance. And even though they're beautiful, just like these, when I look at them, I feel a little bit of guilt because I probably shouldn't have purchased them in the first place. Now, the thrill of the purchase was the purpose for this for me. Some people might have their purpose for this be to color, and I have to be honest with myself, that just wasn't the case. So I am going to purge these from my collection, and I'm going to move them on to someone who will have a more productive purpose for them. And if no one does, they might get recycled. But I'll let my scrapbooking group decide what they want to do with it. Same thing with these. I feel disgust when I look at these, which is one of those feelings I talked about that said that the item may be expired for you, that may need to be purged from your collection. So those are out. Now, something to note with colored items is they may have expired and you don't even need to think about the feeling in regard to it. You don't need to worry about whether or not you should purge. Always go through and just swatch all of them and make sure they're still good. And if they're not good, obviously you move them on. Okay, I'm going to do the same with paint. I'm going to do the same with embossing powder. I'm going to do the same with ink and ink refills and watercolor markers. And I will come back with a big pile of the stuff that I am going to purge. Okay, I'm working on my embossing powders right now. And at first glance I said, oh yes, I love all of them. I don't have any ill feelings towards any of them. I'm keeping all of them. There's no reason to purge it. None of them have expired. And then I realized that I have 5 silver ones, and I've got 2 in a deep, deep purple. And the first situation with the 5 silver is that honestly, I'm not going to be able to use all of them before they start to clump and get nasty. Sometimes time causes embossing powder to clump together, and then it doesn't give as neat of an effect. And here I've got 2 dark purples. Now they are a bit different, so I could say, oh yeah, I'm totally going to keep this. However, this particular one, when I first became a demonstrator back in the early 2000s, like really early 2000s, I ordered black embossing powder when I ordered my first big order, and they sent plum by accident. So I've always had this like slightly negative feeling towards this because it was supposed to be black and it wasn't. So I'm just going to get that negative feeling out of my life and let someone use it, because it's actually great powder. It's just, you know, just doesn't work for me, which means that it has expired. Okay, so I'm going to keep this purple. I love that purple. And I'm going to keep these 3 if I can get them to fit in the box. And if I can't, I might have to do a bit more purging. Nope, they all fit. Excellent. And good. Embossing powder done. And so there you go. Sometimes there's sneaky stuff sitting in the sidelines just waiting to be gotten rid of. Okay, so this is my purge pile so far for color. And as you can see, there's a little bit more breathing room here. This is what I am keeping. Love my Stampin' Up! Stamp pads. There's my embossing stuff. I'm keeping a rainbow of paint, and I'm getting rid of a few, and there were a whole bunch that had dried up, so I just binned those. All of my color that doesn't fit into other categories is in there, so we've got re-inkers and color shine, that sort of thing. My Pearlex is in there. So stamp inks that are still good. I've got my poor man's Copics, my Sharpie markers, and of course my other markers. And that's it. Color is done. Here is a perfect example of what I was talking about when I said that we need to curate our collections. It's fine to have a collection, especially if it's a fine collection. I have 3 different packets of watercolor markers here. And in this case, every time I look at it, I think, great, I've got variety. And yet for some reason, I felt stressed out when every time I see these. I go, oh, they're all watercolor markers. It's nice to have all these colors. However, these are top of the line Prismacolors, and these are some I got at Big W. Now these are great, but if you've got these, the other ones don't even hold a candle to it. So why not pass them on to someone who doesn't have any colored pencils, or sorry, any watercolor pencils, and, you know, maybe they can get some use out of it. So this is a perfect example of curating your collection so that it works for you. Because if I take these out of the picture, that makes me happy. I have plenty of watercolor markers, or watercolor pencils. Here we go, coffee number 2. Here we go. And this is the next step in the process. Okay, so what you see here is tools for crafting, and then adhesives. So glue, tape, Xyron, machine, that sort of thing. And here are the tools and adhesives all ready for the purge process. Okay, the first thing that I'm letting go of is these stamp mounts. And the reason I am is because I haven't done a purge in a while. I haven't actually pulled all of my stuff in one place all together. I didn't realize how many of these mounts I actually have. Now, I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and then I moved on to Close to My Heart because a friend of mine in town does Close to My Heart, and now I'm not even sure if I'm going to be doing that, but I will keep the expensive, you know, nice smooth on the side mounts just in case I do parties in the future. And I do use quite a few of these as well for different size stamps. But these ones that I had before I got the fancy ones, I was holding on to them because I'm like, well, they're perfectly good. But the thing is, they're not they've fulfilled, again, I keep going over this, they have fulfilled their purpose for me. And so therefore I am ready to let them go. Okay, now with items like this, these Stampin' Dimensionals I purchased probably 10 years ago, and I've used that many. That's how often I use them. Now when I was selling Stampin' Up, someone suggested if you keep these things, that you can then peel off both sides and use the foam in the middle as Stampin' Dimensionals. So I kept them, except that I've used this many in 10 years. So those are out the door. Okay, there we go. This is the after of my purge for tools and adhesives. Now, I wasn't surprised. I did not get rid of a whole lot. I did get rid of a few brushes, maybe half of my brushes, and I got rid of some little sponges and things that needed to be moved on. A lot of this is backup stuff. You know, either I bought it in the States or I got a good deal on it, and I'll use it up eventually. So that's the after. All right, there's the purge for tools and adhesives. And it's not much, but it fulfills all of the requirements that I have set out for myself. So I'm happy. This next section is one of the hardest for me. I love my die cutting machine, and I love punches, and I love that they come out with adorable little shapes. However, every time I look at my drawers full of stuff, I am uninspired, disinterested. I've got all of those key things that says I need to purge some. So I'm going to have a detailed look at these and see what I can do. Oh, this part of the purge is probably one of my favorites. I've been looking at this basket of punches that I bought all at one time last year. As you know, as a lot, it was someone else had collected them over the years, and I paid a small fee for all of them. These are the ones I'm passing on to the scrapbooking girls, and these are the ones I'm keeping. And I have to say, the ones I'm keeping were worth way, way, way more than what I paid for them. I'm really happy with this, and now I feel like I can go and use them instead of just being stressed out by the stack. So, and hopefully the girls will enjoy them as well. There we go. Out of all of my punches and dies, this is what I'm keeping, and this is what I'm purging. I don't know what to say about this, except that that video I made the other day on how to purge is a great one to follow if you have this kind of a collection. Now, this is a perfect example of a collection that has not been curated recently. I've been collecting these stamps since, well, I think I got that one in the early 90s. And several of these were recent acquisitions. A friend of mine gave them to me. Some others I bought in a lot, sort of like those punches. But they have there's so many. Now, this is one of those situations where the Marie Kondo method sort of loses me for crafts, because all of these here and up there were the ones that I absolutely loved that I brought from America. And the thing is, I don't have enough space for all of this. Well, technically I do, but it stresses me out. So I'm going to go through them one at a time. Once again, do I love it? If I love it, it may stay. If I love it, but it causes me stress or any form of discontent, then I'm just immediately going to let it go. Another thing I'm going to ask myself when I look at this one, and it's something I mentioned in the other video, is if I were going to walk into a store right now, would I actually pick this up off the shelf and pay full retail for it? A perfect example of would I buy this right now for retail is, this was about $7. I just bought it in December. If I were to walk into a store right now, I would totally buy this. Absolutely, no questions. Now, other stamps, like this one that I got in a big group, it's a very cute bunny, but would I buy it? Probably not. So I may be able to get rid of this because I can make a Happy Easter card or a Happy Spring card without this stamp. If it wasn't in my collection, I could totally live with it and I'd be perfectly happy because it would be taking up less space. All right, so here I go. Hopefully, I'm going to be cutting this down significantly. Okay, so this is what I'm keeping. After much deliberation, this is what I am purging from my collection. So that is that. Boy, oh boy, did that take longer than I expected. It's a lot of work to do this, but I think it's going to be worth it. This next section terrifies me. And at the same time, I'm really kind of looking forward to it because I know I'm going to find some stuff I haven't seen in a while. And I also know that there's a lot of stuff in here that just needs to go. It is embellishments and ribbon and all of those decorative elements. Project life cards, alphabets, that sort of thing. The next section after this is paper, which I am terrified even more of. So hopefully I'll have enough daylight to do all of this. And if not, I'll just finish it tomorrow. This is what I've got left so far. I do have to still go through the Project Life stuff, but that's what's left of the embellishments. And you can see most of the table is empty now. And here's what I've got to purge so far. Ribbon and all sorts of things, from flare to stickers to die cuts to alphabets. I think this is going to be the last section I do tonight in front of the TV. I'm just going to sort through and try to get all of my Project Life stuff to fit inside that one container. And then I'll do paper tomorrow. Good morning. All right, I managed to get all of my cards to fit, my, what are these called? Project Life cards to fit into the one box. And I've moved out 2 big stacks of them. I even have one section that fits an entire of one of the large boxes of 3x4s into it. And it's nearly empty, so that's exciting. And so it fits. All right. It's bright and early Monday morning. I am going to rock and roll with the paper. Coffee's made. Here we go. The last frontier, paper. Now this is all of my patterned paper, mostly 12x12s, a whole bunch of 6x12s there, and then some odds and ends over here, and some 6x6 paper pads up there. And I know that the hardest part of this particular purge is going to be the scarcity factor, as in, oh no, what if this one sheet of Kaisercraft paper is not available, and obviously I've got more than one sheet, is not available in 2 years' time when I need to make Santa crafts. It's a challenge, but again, it goes back to those feelings again. Does it bring me joy? And if it does bring me joy, but it still feels like there's a lot, what are the underlying currents going on? Am I stressed? Is it causing me frustration, overwhelm? You know, and would it make sense to scale back in order to assist with that? So here I go. All right, I've actually done better than I thought I would. That's all 12x12s, some 6x12s here, and then some scrap. So I'm happy with that. And here's the 12x12 pattern paper that I'm keeping. And then I found a little bit of plain colored paper that's going to go in with the plain colored paper. I still have to go through the 6x6 stack. And on the back, I've got some specialty type paper over here and some cardboard that I found that needs to get organized. And then that is just a couple of sheets I pulled for a video in the next few days. And underneath it are a couple of 12x12 sticker sheets that I found while going through everything. So this is what I'm keeping. Here we go. This is my 6x6 pads. I'm keeping these, purging those, still working on my coffee. There it is, guys. This is what I have purged from my craft room. Between 12x12 paper, stamps, coloring implements, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to bring it to my scrapbooking group tonight to see if anybody wants anything. And that's it for this video. Now, I will be doing a craft room tour. Obviously, I'm going to have to because so many of my craft supplies are gone. I have to rethink the whole thing. So that will be coming soon. I also received a lovely comment this morning asking me to do a video on what to do once you've purged. And you've got this big pile of stuff on your dining room table, and now what? Because sometimes it's hard to actually remove it because this is not the purge. The purge is when it's gone. And I will do a video on that because I think it's a really, really good topic, and it's one that I've thought a lot about over the years. So I'm happy to share that with you. That'll be coming up soon as well. Tomorrow I'll have a Versacolor swatch video for you by viewer request, and then Wednesday for a tutorial. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you guys have a great day. Good luck with your purging. Let me know how it goes, and take care. Bye, guys.